Welcome back to the channel, folks. I'm John, Carrie's behind the camera, and in case you're new to the channel, this is Bayou Outdoors. Today, being that the weather has turned a little cold here in Oklahoma, it's warm right now, but it's going down in the 20s at night, so it's a little chilly. So tonight I decided I wanted to make an étouffée, a crawfish étouffée. So crawfish ain't in season yet, so well, here's what I got. I got Louisiana crawfish tails, 12-ounce package. I got some seasoned blend peppers, onions, celery, and then I tried this new this time to make my seafood stock. It's called Better Than Bouillon Seasoned Lobster Base. So I turned that in and I made my seafood stock out of that, and that's what we're going to make the dish with today. And some of the other ingredients we're using cayenne pepper, some crab boil, a little bit of Cape Reds, hot sauce, garlic, thyme, paprika, bay leaves, black pepper. Of course, you know, your flour and your butter. That's what starts with my roux. So when I'm going to get ready to put all this together, I will come back to you, and we'll get this started, and we'll film it from start to finish. And you all can hang out and watch me make an étouffée. Now, I just let you know, this is the way I make étouffée. Everybody make it a little differently. I make it for my family and the way we like it. But if you think of something that I could do differently, leave us a comment. Let us know. But in the meantime, we will get back to you in just a little bit. All right. Step one to making an étouffée is starting with the roux. The roux is the most important part. Now, when I make an étouffée roux, I start with butter. Any other roux I use oil, but I use butter for étouffée just because it's just so much creamier. So I got my pan heating up, and this particular roux we're just going to use a half a cup of butter and a half a cup of flour. And then we're going to go from there. So, okay. Unsalted butter. I'm going to melt it down. I got my burner on high right now, just to get the butter melted down, and then I'm going to start turning it down a little bit. We want to go slow. You want to make this roux really slow. You can use whatever pan you want. I like to use my cast iron Dutch oven, just because it's heavy and as you can see, it's well seasoned, and it's always my pan of choice to make. Someday, if I can ever get my hands on a Magnolite pot, then I may switch it out for a Magnolite. But until I can find one of those, which I have never been successful at finding at a garage sale or anywhere else, we use the cast iron. Alright, so I got my butter all melted down. Now I am going to slowly, first I'm going to check my flame, because I want this really low. Alright, I got it done. I'm going to slowly start adding my flour. If you get too much in there, add more flour, add more butter, whatever, until you get it the way you want it. I just add it in slowly. Try to get it incorporated to keep the clumps out. I use a wooden paddle for this step. Alright, I got my flour in there. Now we just keep stirring. Now typically, I mean you can make your roux whatever color you want. I personally, our family, we like a peanut butter roux when it comes to étouffée. So I'll just keep stirring this. Keep stirring and keep stirring until we get there. Now I'm not going to bore you with 15 minutes of me stirring this roux. I'll come back to you when I get the color I want and you can see it, and then we'll add the next step, which will be our vegetables, and then we'll start adding our seasonings and everything else in. But until then, I'll come back to you when the roux is ready. All right. So here we are. We got the roux almost a peanut butter color, just a little bit longer to go. As soon as you get it to the desired color that you want, then you can add your trinity. Today I'm cheating. I'm using frozen vegetables, already chopped and already in a bag, just for easy. I have no problem with chopping our vegetables or whatever, but we found these and we used them once and they're alright. For me and Carrie, it'll be just fine. But as you can see, we've been stirring here. I think we've been doing this, 10-15 minutes now. We've been working on this roux on a low heat. And it's really, really close. Real close to being there. Almost a peanut butter color. I want to just try to get a little bit darker. Few more minutes. Now I took these vegetables out and I thawed them out. Okay, I let them sit and thaw out a little bit, so they have a little bit of moisture content to them. If just in case there isn't not enough moisture, I got the seafood stock that I made out of that better than bouillon and all that. I got that right there. Normally I make my own seafood stock, but I didn't have anything to make the seafood stock out of. So we used it on the last time we made étouffée. But it looks like we're right there. And people, I wish you could smell this. The smell that this is just truly, truly amazing smelling. Okay, as you can see, we got a pretty good peanut butter color. I think I'm pretty comfortable with that color. So I'm going to go ahead and this is how you stop your cook, right here. You stop your roux and then dump your vegetables in. I guess I should have took them out of the bag before I did all this, but oh well. Now we're going to saute these for a little bit before we go on to the next step. What you want to do is you want to let these get nice and soft. Let them sweat down a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit of moisture to them, just a little bit, because I think it needs a little bit of moisture. So we'll add a little bit there. Okay, we let these sweat. We let the vegetables sweat down for a little bit. Got the lid on, holds the moisture in, and I think we're at the point now that where we're going to add the pope to it. And for all you that don't know, the pope is garlic. So now I'm going to add this. This is however you want your flavoring. I like a lot of garlic, so I'm going to add 4 spoonfuls of garlic. Well, if I got 4 spoonfuls of garlic, 2, 3, there's 2, 3. There's about 4, and that's about 4 cloves of garlic that I just added to it. And then we're going to stir that in. We'll let that sit for, we're going to stir that in and let that saute for a minute. Soak up some of this goodness. We don't want to burn it, so you got to make sure that your fire is really, really low. If you can see this, the onions are almost clear, so they're just about there. As soon as the garlic starts getting fragrant, about, I don't know, minute, 2 minutes, whatever. I'll put my cover back on real quick, and we'll just stand here for a minute. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add the seafood stock to it. And then I'm going to start adding all the seasonings. And I'll go through every seasoning with you, so you know, and I'll give you the amounts that you all need to put this together if you want to make it like me. But you can just, the basic is right here. From here on out, you can change it. Now, if you don't have crawfish available and you find shrimp, you can use shrimp, whatever. I mean, any kind of seafood you want, really. I just really like Etouffee, crawfish Etouffee, and especially because now I can, once this is made, Carrie and I won't eat it all, but what we'll end up doing is I'll use this Etouffee on maybe, we have some redfish in the freezer that we caught, actually Carrie caught. We have some more red snapper that I caught, and we can put over the top of it. We could use it for many things. But as you can see, let's see what we're looking at now with our garlic. Our garlic is looking good. I'm smelling it pretty good. So I think we're ready to go. We're ready to take it to the next step. Now the next step is it's 2 cups of chicken stock, 2 cups of water, 2 cups of whatever you want. I just happen to make seafood stock out of better than bouillon, and then add a little chicken stock to it. We're starting out with 2 cups. Now I made a big old pot of it just in case. Just in case it ain't enough. Then you stir that in, and you should start seeing it thickening up. And stir it slowly, because otherwise you're going to spill it all over you like I just did. You see how it turned out to a nice and creamy. Okay, now we got that stirred in. Now is when we're going to start adding everything to it. Now all this is subjective to however you want your flavoring. This is like I said, this is the Etouffee that we like. And essentially, I could have went just a little bit darker, but it is, you know what I mean? This is, for video purposes, this is what we're doing. All right, so now we are going to start off with this right here is what's really going to make it. This is crab boil liquid. Okay, I am going to add, and I'm going to measure this. I'm going to add a half a teaspoon of crab oil to it. Being that I didn't cook the crawfish. Now, if I would have cooked the crawfish, I would omit this step right here. I don't need it. But because I didn't cook the crawfish, I'm adding this to it. It'll give me the flavor that I'm looking for. You can use probe oil. You can use crab oil. You don't have to use the liquid. You can use the powder. I just stay away from that because of the salt content that's already in the seafood stock. That's a little salty, so I omitted that. All right, then we're going to go with a sprinkle of Cape Reds. Just a sprinkle. I don't know, a quarter teaspoon or whatever. Oops, I just dropped my stuff. Damn it. All right, from here then, I got to add some cayenne. I got to wipe these things off. I'll get back to you here in 1 second, please. I got to go wash them. All right, I got those washed and done because I done dropped them on the darn floor. All right, next step is we're going to add a teaspoon. Now, I'm only measuring this for y'all so you can actually make it. There's a heaping well, that's probably a little too much. But, okay, so we got a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. If you can't find cayenne pepper, you can use red pepper flakes. Just use a quarter of what you're going to use for the cayenne. All right, so we got that in there. Now we're going to add paprika. Same teaspoon of paprika. Got that in there. We're going to add a sprinkle of thyme, quarter teaspoon or so. Just a little thyme leaves right there. We're going to add 2 bay leaves. You don't have to use these. You can remember you can do it any way you want to. This is just how I do it. 2 bay leaves. Now I'm going to stir this up. And it's getting a little thick. A little thick right now from me adding all this to it. So what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to add a little bit more stock to it. And of course, I always filter my stock. So I'm just going to add. Okay, we got right here. We got a cup. I'll probably just add maybe a quarter of that for right now, and I'm going to keep that just in case. Now look at the color that thing is taking. Amazing, amazing, amazing color. All right. So now, the next ingredient I got to go to the refrigerator and get. We're using Cajun au jus, stale crackers, W sauce, and we're going to add 1 tablespoon of this. Now normally I just don't measure, I just add a squeeze, but I'm doing it for y'all. Okay. Okay, so we got that in there. Stirring it all up. It's got beautiful color. It's still a little thick, so I'm going to add a little bit more stock to it. So now that was a total of 3 cups of stock. Okay, the last thing I'm going to add, other than the crawfish, okay, is I ran out of Stale Crackers cayenne pepper sauce, and Walmart, unfortunately, I ordered more from Walmart.com, and it was supposed to be delivered yesterday, but then on yesterday, the day it was supposed to be delivered, I got a message saying, oh, I'm sorry, it's not going to here's your money back. We don't have it in stock. So I was left without that. So I'm reverting back to Crystal hot sauce. You can use whatever hot sauce you want. And I am going to add 3 drops. 1 drop right there, you just saw that one. 2 drops, 3 drops.
Those are like squirts.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a drop. Those are like squirts.
So we're going to stir that in, and then we're going to let it simmer for a minute. I'm going to put the lid on it, and we're going to let it simmer for a little bit before I put the crawfish in. I'll come back to you here in just a little bit. Alright, this has been simmering now for about 15-20 minutes. Letting all them flavors incorporate. I done tasted it. Off camera, I added just a little bit more stock to it, just to get it nice and creamy, as you can see it. Now, the last step is we're going to add the crawfish. Now, as in the beginning of the video, you saw this is the crawfish we're using. Crawfish ain't in season right now. Can't wait for crawfish to come in season so we can make a trip to Louisiana and get some. Make a whole video of us getting crawfish. But, alright, so we took it out. Now I'm just going to slowly incorporate this in. We're going to mix that in. I got this thing on the lowest heat setting that I can keep it. Alright, now we got it all in. And for y'all that don't know Etouffee, it means smothered. So, smothered crawfish or smothered shrimp. But anyway, okay, now we got the crawfish in there. I got it on the lowest setting that we got. The next step will be when we plate it up, but we want to let this sit down and we want to let it simmer. I want to let this simmer for probably 30 minutes, stirring it every 10 or so, just to let all them flavors incorporate with each other. And then I'll come back to you when we get ready to plate it. Alright folks, it's been simmering now for about 35 minutes, 40 minutes. I switched it over to a hot plate because the butane stove it was just getting it too hot. So I'm going to give it a stir. Well, I guess I ain't giving it a stir because I don't know where my spoon went, but anyway, we're going to make a plate. Just plain old white rice. Make plain old white rice, as you can see. As you can see, the plain old white rice. Okay. Okay. So the plate is made. Now, if you all been following the channel for a minute, you'll know about these green onions that are in this thing that we've been growing here in the shop. So I'm just going to take a few, cut some off. They've been going on for quite a long time. Chopped up a little bit of green onion on there. And I'll give you a taste on camera. Crawfish Étouffée. Folks, I gotta tell you, don't get no better than this right here. This right here is straight up money. Tune in next time for our, who knows what we're gonna do. I think we're planning on a camping trip coming up soon. So, stay with us. Like, subscribe, comment, share. Let everybody know. Good night, people.